Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing fine. Welcome to my first educational YouTube video. As the dates for various entrance examinations are being extended, I thought why not make this time a little more productive. So here I am with my first video on axis development in Drosophila melanogaster. Drosophila's developmental genetics is one of the most important topic for CSIR and it is covered under developmental biology unit. So let's get started with the video, but before that please don't forget to like and subscribe my channel for more upcoming videos. So I have divided developmental genetics of Drosophila into three parts to make it more easy and understandable. So this first part will be about development of dorsal ventral axis. Part 2 will be about development of anterior posterior axis and part 3 will be about pattern regulating genes. However, you should know that all these things, all these events are occurring at the same point of time in Drosophila. Before starting the developmental genetics, we should know why do we study Drosophila as a model organism. Basically, a model organism is a species that has been widely studied and easy to maintain. And so far, Drosophila has been studied for a diverse range of biological processes such as embryonic development, learning behavior, aging, etc. You might be thinking that human and this little fly are way more different. So how can we study all those things that we want to study on humans? So although they look very different, most of the fundamental biological mechanism and pathways that control development and survival are conserved across these two species, across the evolution between these two species. So some of the technical advantage for using Drosophila over the vertebrate models are they are easy to handle, they are inexpensive and they have shorter life cycle. So, for example, we have to study some of the diseases or some of the drugs that we want to test at different phases of life. So, having a model organism with short life cycle makes it a lot more easier because we have the chance to study all those events in a very short span of time. Also, they produce a large number of externally led embryos. So, as the embryos are being led externally, so there is no any kind of operation involved, no any kind of embryo extraction involved, and then we can study these embryo very easily. Also, they can be genetically modified in numerous ways. The first ever documented use of Drosophila was in the laboratory, Harvard Laboratory in 1901 by William Castle's group. However, we all know that father of Drosophila research is T.H. Morgan. Yes, he is the same T.H. Morgan who made our life very easy with studying crossing over and linkages in genetics. So Drosophila axis formation begins even before the egg is fertilized. Basically, oocytes are descendant from oogonium, which is a female germ cell. It is surrounded by a layer of epithelium of follicle cells. Now this oogonium nucleus undergoes 4 nuclear division with incomplete karyokinesis. So suppose this is oogonium with nucleus. After nuclear division, it will form 2 nucleus. If karyokinesis had happened, it would have formed 2 cells, each containing 1 nucleus. But this does not happen in case of Drosophila oocyte development. Rather, it leads to separation in nucleus, but the cells are somewhat connected. This 4 nuclear division will lead to formation of 16 cells, but due to incomplete karyokinesis, these 16 cells will remain interconnected. So out of 16 cells, there are 15 ovarian nurse cells and 1 oocyte precursor which is present at the end of this structure, which will be the posterior end in the future developmental stages. Now as this egg forms, this nurse cell and the follicle cell will start expressing maternal gene products and lot of maternal mRNA and protein will form which will remain dormant. However, some of the maternal gene product will help in establishing polarity in early embryo and also in the oocyte development. So coming here, these 15 nurse cells and 1 oocyte will together known as egg chamber. After the egg chamber forms, maternal genes are expressed and polarity starts to established. But this will be discussed in more elaborated form in next coming slides. So now come to this stage where egg is formed and fertilization occur. So fertilization occurs through the micropyle region of the egg, and now this is 2N, which is a fertilized egg. After this step, nuclear division starts, but these nucleus are not separated into separate cells. So this is called as superficial cleavage, leading to the formation of syncytial blastodome. So what is superficial cleavage? That is, the cell nucleus is dividing, but it is not separated into different cells. And syncytial, why it is called syncytial blastodome? So syncytium is a single cell or cytoplasmic mass which contains several nuclei, and here is the same case where several nuclei are enclosed into the cytoplasm of the egg. Now after certain division, which I will discuss in next figure, so after certain division, these nucleuses start migrating to the peripheral region. So in the beginning, 5 cells will reach the posterior end of the egg, and they will be enclosed into the plasma membrane, and they will be called as pole cell that will help in the zygote formation, development and formation of the germ layers. After these cells have reached periphery, membrane invagination will occur, and this will lead to the formation of one layer of cell surrounding this uh, mm, egg, and this will be now known as cellular blastodome surrounding the zygote, and this will be known as cellular blastodome. So this is a microscopic image of all these stages that these stages between this syncytial blastodome, from the fertilization to the cellular blastodome formation. So there are total 14 nuclear division, and from 1 to 8 nuclear division, all the nuclear division are of 8 minutes per division, and they will together form 256 nuclei. After that, they will start migrating towards the periphery, and by the end of 9th division, 5 nuclei reaches the surface that will form the pole cell. So you have to remember at what division step what is forming. Like pole cell is very important. It is going to help in zygote formation, embryo development. It is going to help in germ layer formation. So it is very important. Also it is important because at the 9th stage only, after that stage, in 9th stage only, all the cells are going to migrate towards the periphery. By the end of 10th division, almost all the nuclei have reached the periphery. After 10th division, 4 more nuclear division will occur, but they will be at much slower rate than the previous 10 nuclear division. So by this time, all these are known as cellular blastodome. So after this 13th division, the membrane invagination occurs. So this step is after this 13th division. After 13th division, the membrane invagination occurs. The membrane actually starts to fold inwards. So this is membrane, this is the nucleus. It has been held by the microfilaments, so that it does not move, and this cell membrane has starts moving or folding inward, so that it can encapsulate, in a way we can say that it can encapsulate this nucleus and form a single cell. So in this way, the membrane invagination occurs and a single cellular layer is formed in this zygote, and this is known as cellular blastodome. Now this step, that is the transition from syncytial blastodome to cellular blastodome, can be inhibited or prevented by all those drugs that can target microtubule or microfilaments. So these are the certain example of microtubule and microfilaments, and also no questions has been asked so far. As far as I know, no questions has been asked from this region. So you should take it as an important point. So in future, CSIR might ask question from this region also. So this is a small slide discussing fertilization and how Drosophila inhibits polyspermy. So during fertilization, sperm enters an already activated egg. That is, egg has already started its axis formation or begin the process to specify its axis. Now, cytoplasm had already begun translation of stored mRNA so that all those proteins can help in axis formation. Egg has already begun the axis determination, embryo organization, etc. So micropyle is the only site for the sperm entry. It is kind of a tunnel in the egg shell, and only one sperm at a time can enter. So in this way, micropyle helps to prevent polyspermy. Now coming to the sperm, the size of sperm plays a very important role in inhibiting polyspermy. So its size is around 1.8 millimeter. It is as long as an adult fly, and also it is 300 times longer than the human sperm. Now that it has a huge tail, it blocks entry of other sperm, and in this way it also prevents polyspermy. So now coming to the main slide, the hero of this lecture, axis development in Drosophila embryo. So we have already discussed that as a nurse cell and oocyte precursor is formed, these nurse cells start expressing the maternal gene products. So one of the maternal gene product expressed by nurse cell is the Gurkhan mRNA. Gurkhan mRNA. So this Gurkhan mRNA is formed in the nurse cell, but it is transported specifically to the oocyte nucleus. Here near the oocyte nucleus, Gurkhan mRNA is in between the follicle cells and the nucleus, and it is translated into Gurkhan protein. These Gurkhan protein are received by the torpedo receptor. This orange or a red kind structure on the follicle cells are the torpedo receptors. These green are the Gurkhan protein, and they binds to the torpedo receptors of these follicle cells. As they binds to the torpedo receptors, the postularization of these follicle cells occur. Now, these follicle cells start synthesizing molecules that activates protein kinase A. So pKa, after pKa is formed, these pKa are formed, they helps in forming or arranging microtubules in such a way that these pK helps in arranging microtubules such that the positive end is near the posterior end and the negative end is near the anterior end of the embryo. Now we know that there are various microtubule motor protein. For example, kinesins are those microtubule motor protein. Kinesins are those microtubule motor protein that are positive and directed. That is, whatever protein they are associated with, they help those protein to transport at the positive or plus end of the microtubule. Same way, dyne is the negative end directed or minus end directed motor protein, and it will help to transport protein to the negative end of the microtubules. So this kinesin 1 helps to transport Oscar mRNA. Oscar is another maternal protein. Oscar mRNA and Stophan protein to the plus end or the posterior end of this embryo. Here Stophan is not mentioned, so please mention. Here one more protein Stophan is bring towards the posterior end along with the Oscar mRNA, because this Stophan protein helps in translation of Oscar mRNA. Now when the Oscar proteins are formed, they binds to the nanose protein. They binds to the nanose protein which specify this end as the posterior end. Now I'm not going into detail because this anterior posterior axis formation, I already have a separate slide for that, but as we have to discuss this dorsal ventral and what is the beginning of this whole situation, so I have to like tell you in a little bit concised manner or in a very like concentrated form, so that I could explain what are the initial steps that occur, initial molecular steps. So basically this Oscar protein is formed which binds to nanose mRNA, and hence the posterior end is formed, and this bicoid mRNA is transported to the negative end by the help of dynein. So now let's discuss the dorsal ventral axis formation in little more detail. So this is the overall molecular mechanism of dorsal ventral axis formation. So this might look scary, but it is very easy. So when this posterior follicle is formed, this oocyte moves to the dorsal end of the embryo. At the dorsal end, Gurkhan mRNA are translated into Gurkhan protein by this oocyte, and this Gurkhan protein binds to the torpedo receptors expressed on the follicle cells of the dorsal side of embryo. When they binds to the torpedo receptor, it initiates signaling pathways that leads to dorsalization of this follicle as well as inhibition of the pipe protein synthesis in dorsal side of the embryo. Now what happens at the ventral side is that here Gurkhan proteins are absent, so there is nothing to bind to this torpedo receptor and initiate that signaling. So in the absence of those signaling, pipe synthesis occurs, and now this pipe protein will activate certain unknown X factor, which will together with noodle protein will go and activate gastrulation deficient protein, which in turn activates snake protein, which activates Easter protein, which activates Spartzl protein. Now this whole activation cascade is being carried out in the perivitellin space, that is the space between this follicle layer and the cytoplasm, this perivitellin space. Now this activated Spartzl will go and binds to the toll receptor expressed on this perivitellin membrane. This toll receptor is bound to two proteins on its cytoplasmic end, which is peli and tube. These two proteins gets activated and they phosphorylates cactus protein. What does this cactus protein do? This cactus protein actually traps the dorsal protein and inhibit it from entering the nucleus. After it is fertilized by peli and tube, it undergoes degradation and the dorsal protein is released from the cactus and it enters the nucleus. So it starts certain mechanism that helps in ventralization of this follicle. So overall summary is Gurkhan expression leads to dorsalization and dorsal protein formation or activation leads to ventralization of the embryo. So basically to remember it, you just remember that it is exactly opposite, like dorsal is for ventral. So in that way you will eventually remember that yes, the other protein Gurkhan is for dorsal. So this is one slide where I will be explaining one experiment. So this explains how Gurkhan and torpedo genes are important for complete dorsal ventral axis formation in the embryo. If any of these proteins are deficient in the mother Drosophila, it will lead to complete ventralization of the embryo. So there will be no dorsal axis in the embryo. So as it says, maternal deficiency of either the Gurkhan or torpedo gene causes ventralization of the embryo. Now, the Gurkhan protein is active in the oocyte, whereas torpedo is active only in the somatic follicle cells. Okay, somatic follicle cells. So, in this experiment, what happened is that they took embryo from wild type mother, they took embryo from the torpedo receptor gene mother. Now the germ cell, the pole cell, they transferred these pole cell from the embryo of wild type mother into the wild type germ cell in a torpedo deficient mother. Now as we say, the torpedo does not have to do anything with the germ cell. So if they are transplanting it in the deficient mother, it is anyways not going to lead to the formation of dorsal ventral axis, and so this embryo is completely ventralized. Now in another experiment we can see they have taken pole cell from the embryo of the mother which was deficient in torpedo gene. Okay. Now they transferred this pole cell in the uh, in the wild type female. Wild type female means its somatic cell had the torpedo gene. Now this leads to formation of normal dorsal ventral axis because this female Drosophila already had torpedo gene expressed in its follicle cell. So even if the germ cell was deficient in torpedo, it had nothing to do with inhibition of the dorsalization or ventralization in the embryo. So this is a small experiment, and question has been asked from this in CSIR, and it further questions can also be asked from this experiment. So I will suggest that whatever experiment you get in any standard book, just follow it, because in most of the questions from developmental biology in the C section is from experimental questions. So it will be very easy to crack on those questions. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope this video was useful. If you have any question, please feel free to comment in the comment section, and do not forget to hit the bell icon for updates and the upcoming videos.